Hey guys, Jake here, and welcome back to the F125 Cadillac Road to Glory for the Mexican Grand Prix. Very, very nervous about this one because my pace around Mexico in previous games hasn't been great, and I normally try to avoid this circuit as much as possible. But there is a chance that this year it could be a good one for us. So, yeah, I mean, I always have good quality pace around here, but unfortunately today, because of our grid penalties, we're not going to get a chance to do that. We have grid penalties because our components are very warm. We're driving as Franco Colapinto in South America, so we need a good result for him. And myself and my teammate both have grid penalties, which is just brilliant. But in the championship, we are looking very good. Last time out, I managed to get a P2 driving as Jarno Watmir around Kota, which is very good for me. Was it Kota? I think it was Kota. And then in the end, my team got P11 and he was P5 for a while. But as you can see, 30 place grid penalty, which means there's pretty much no point doing qualifying. The only reason I'll be doing qualifying is to waste a set of softs and to just flex that I have got the pace. But we aren't going to do that. We are going to just go straight into quali. Probably try give my teammate a slipstream in quali, even though he's also got a grid penalty. And yeah, I mean, there's probably no point, but your AI teammate does it anyway, so there's not really much you can do about it. But in the end, we actually didn't go out at all. We just went in, retired, so I could actually see the results and the time differences. And in the end, actually, my teammate put on quite a decent performance. He got P6 as a low-rated driver. I know we have the third quickest car now behind Ferrari and McLaren. But that is a superb performance. 8 tenths off pole, though. I mean, other than Hamilton and Verstappen, who are just apparently a world ahead of everyone else, that wasn't bad.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Albon, Ollie Behrman, and Ocon. Antonelli, Stroll, Verstappen, and Yuki Tsunoda. Russell, Piastri, Fernando Alonso, and Sainz. Gasly, Hülkenberg, Isaac Hadjar, and Gabriel Bortoleto. Doohan, Lawson, Opmeer, and Franco Colapinto rounds off the grid. And striding into our
So yeah, as I said, both me and my teammates starting from the back row of the grid, P21 and P22. Everyone is starting on the mediums. I think we're going to roll the dice. I think we might commit to a 2-stop. We need to make positions up at the start. We need to have an electric start, and we need to see what we can do. So we are going to look to do, we were going to do medium, soft, but then I kind of went, let's try and keep it a bit more simple. Let's start on the softs. Because we are starting far down the grid, we want to start on the better compound of tyre and just swap the strategy around, really. We have the fresh softs to use, so we might as well 2-stop. And, yeah, let's just see what we can do. I mean, we actually were like, yeah, you know, I'm happy with the strategy. And then sort of went back to it and went, nah, let's mix it up a little bit and do soft, medium, soft. So we're quick at the start and quick at the end with some solid pace in the middle. Are those softs going to make it 10 laps, though? I don't know. But it's always a case of if we need to abort strategy, we can chuck on a set of hards if necessary. And if anything happens, we have the spare softs to get us through for a late safety car or an early safety car. So, yeah, let's just see what we can do. I'm expecting a very action-packed race because we're starting so low down, but we have pace around this circuit. We have pace in the car, and it's going to be a comeback drive, hopefully for the ages. I'm targeting. There are a lot of quick cars and drivers and combinations out there right now. Williams look very quick and stuff. I'll be aiming to get ahead of the Williams, maybe a Mercedes if one of them starts low down enough. I can't remember where they were starting, but that's my aim. Is to get round and try and catch the Williams and the Mercedes today. Because they are the teams just behind us. We don't want them gaining too many points in the Constructors' Championship. So, Mexican Grand Prix. One of the worst starts in the whole calendar. because of how long the straight is. And it is lights out, and away we go. And it is a actually quite solid start. I know we're on the softs, but it is a quite solid start. And now we're going to finally start using some ERS. It seems as if the cars around us aren't draining ERS as much as we are. But my teammate, as you can see, absolutely going for it around the outside as we go for it on the inside. My teammate getting boxed in. We clip Bortoletto, but we absolutely launch it down the inside of multiple drivers and are now side by side with Carlos Sainz, getting ahead of Sainz, and now side by side with Piastri as we get level with Piastri on the exit and now look to use ERS and burn and get ahead of the McLaren driver. It's a very good start, making up 9 positions already, and there's only going to be more to come as now Fernando Alonso gets slowed down a little bit on our soft. We just glide past him as he gets slowed down while the drivers are going side by side. Fantastic stuff. So on to the next lap. We are still P12. Well, on later in the lap, we're still P12 until we go down the inside of George Russell. Nice little lunge. One of those lap 1 overtakes you can make on the AI that you could never make in real life sort of thing. So we get that done, and we're now almost in the points already. And we are ahead of both a Mercedes, a McLaren, and the Williams, as there are now drivers going side by side. Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda currently going side by side, slowing each other down. We look to optimize our exit, and we do. We are getting a very, very good exit. We're going to commit to the outside. Tsunoda, oh, we've had to make a swerve, but keeping a tyre on the track and going into the grass, it means we didn't spin and we managed to keep some positions. Actually, if anything, gain some. And then we go down the inside of Max Verstappen later on in the lap, and we're now up to P8 already. Absolutely fantastic stuff. We're now behind Kimi Antonelli and Ocon for 7th and 6th. And because the Haas is so slow, we actually might have a chance of catching them, which is very, very good. So let's see what we can do now on this straight. Antonelli is very close to Esteban Ocon. We've got enough ERS to stay away from Verstappen. Let's see if these two fight. They are going to be going side by side, but Antonelli gets clean ahead of Ocon. We scare Ocon into making a defensive manoeuvre. We drift back to the racing line and then absolutely launch it up the inside of Ocon. And it compromises our exit. And I'll be honest with you, we probably shouldn't have done that because it really did compromise our exit. Eventually, Verstappen gets past us on lap 4 as we have a yellow flag for a retiring Aston Martin. I believe the Aston Martin is of Fernando Alonso, it is. But we're struggling for tyre temps. We've made some really big lunges, had to get on the power early. Our tyres are starting to overheat and there's not really much I can do about it. And it's making certain sections of the track really, really tricky. And we're losing a lot of time through it as we come through this sector, getting on the curb, and we've spun it. We have spun. We are, and a safety car's been deployed. We have spun it. Oh no, and we're dropping all the way down towards the back of the grid. We're now behind my teammate who got a 10-second penalty for an illegal overtake on me, which I think's a bit, stupid. But in we come. We can't stay on those softs any longer. They're shot. They're way too hot. The tyre wear isn't exactly amazing on them anyway. I've done about 4 laps on them and they were on about 30%. So they probably weren't going to comfortably make the distance I wanted them to anyway. So in hindsight, a bad strategy, but we are going to chuck on a set of hards, which I don't know if they're going to have better pace than the mediums at this point. We are only 5 laps in, but it's going to take some hell of a drive from here to even really get decent points. So yeah, I'm expecting a struggle for this race now, but we're going to cut now to when the safety car comes in. We are P20 at a P21. The only car behind me in the race is Jack Doohan in the Alpine. He's got no pace. So yeah, safety car coming in this lap. Let's see if we've got any better pace than the cars around us. We've got Nico Hülkenberg currently straight ahead of us. And let's see, I don't know if we're going to make, because we're starting the restart quite far back. It's not going to be very easy to make up positions like normal. But yeah. Oh, hold on. There's a yellow flag up ahead. Why is that? Oh, there's a slow-moving car. It's the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll, and it is a double DNF for Aston Martin. That is absolute rotten luck. 2 mechanical failures within multiple laps for the Astons. We make up some early positions on lap 1, but we didn't show them, probably because they were very, very easy. But it's clear to see that we have way more pace in the car and the tyres than these cars around us right now, and we need to get past them quick. Both of the V carbs being very, very slow, obviously. My teammate actually made up quite a few positions. We're not going to make a lunge there. We're going to wait for the main straight and then overtake Liam Lawson, because there's no point risking our own race by making a lunge and then losing DRS, when we could just wait till now and get a nice boost for maybe a fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We go on to lap 8. DRS is enabled. We have none right now, but we have lower wings than Lawson, and we just go flying past the V-carb, and we also have more engine upgrades as well, probably. So we just go flying past, not even much ERS used, and now we have our own teammate ahead of us. He is in P14, so he's not doing too bad, but like, he qualified P6. I don't know where he would be. He probably would have dropped quite far down. He is only like a 63 rated driver, y'all know what I'm there. So, but yeah, our teammate is fighting Pierre Gasly. Can we use this to our advantage? Oh my word, what a move. Oh my days. We just launched it from miles back and went down the inside of both my teammate and Gasly. And then my teammate gets Gasly, hopefully, anyway. But now we've got Bortoletto and Sainz ahead of us. So we've already made 2 overtakes. How about we make an, oh my word, Bortoletto almost swings into us and we're stuck on the grass. Oh my word. It's risky. It really is risky. But we get 3 moves done in a couple corners there, which isn't bad. And now we're on to Carlos Sainz, who has a decent pace, to be fair. So we've managed to pull away from Bortoletto. And once we get past Sainz, we need to try get back towards the front runners, the McLarens, the Red Bulls, the Mercedes and the Ferraris. And we fly past Carlos Sainz, and we are now able to do just that. Also, Albon's in the mix in this group as well, with Carlos Sainz just outside of it. So it really is the big 4 teams, and then Williams and myself fighting for points every race. And then Ocon normally qualifies quite well, but as you can see, he normally drops off a cliff, and the past highway is awful. But these guys are quite slow, especially compared to me on my fresher hards. They're now on really worn mediums. So we are just going to try and make light work wherever we can. And it's actually quite a nice move we're about to make on Piastri. We force him to sort of go take a weird line on that corner. It compromises his exit and we fly past him, coming into this sector of the track where we are quite quick. And we managed to just about get DRS. And we do take a track limits warning there. Again, not too bothered about that. But we cut now back to the main straight because you're probably going to guess they're about to pit. But there goes Russell and Albon. We now take 2 positions for free. We would have got them anyway, I think, on that straight. It would have been interesting to see how that would have gone. But we are now up into P6 as Verstappen also pits. And they're all going on to the hards. We are going to have to eventually box and come onto some mediums. But there's a long time still coming for that, as now other drivers are starting to pit. Tsunoda, Antonelli, Leclerc and Norris. But Hamilton's still out 9 seconds in the lead with a fastest lap. Hamilton on some really, really good form at the minute. Eventually Hamilton pits. Norris is 9 seconds behind me on lap 18. And we are able to take the lead of the Grand Prix, which is not bad at all. But eventually that 9 seconds is nothing. 3 laps later, they've cut down so much time on us. I mean, we've been on these tyres now for 17 laps. And they are really starting to fall off a cliff. Well, not fall off a cliff, but they are starting to lack pace now. We don't have a completely awful pace, but it's just these guys on fresh hards in these quick cars are just rapid. Absolutely rapid. And they'll be able to keep this pace up as well. So we're going to have a hard task of catching them back up on mediums. I don't think a race win is possible, but we'll have to see where we come out when we eventually do make our stop. But it's Verstappen and Norris behind us right now, and they come absolutely flying past. There's not really much defending either of them. So we let them both go through. And for our own race's sake, I mean, hopefully they don't battle too much. But yeah, they both go flying through. And it's only a lap later. Again, they're about 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds a lap quicker than me. We're really struggling. And we eventually come in onto a set of mediums with really worn tyres, to be fair. As you can see there, they're about 60% worn, I think. Maybe even higher. So we've now got 12 laps to do on the mediums, and we get a good stop, which is very, very good. And we are going to come out, it looks like it's going to be behind Carlos Sainz, but with loads of clean air behind and a little bit in front, and that is going to be P10. So we're already in the points with really fresh tyres and cars ahead of us potentially battling. There could be a very good chance of some decent points, and this will be a mega comeback drive if we can do it. So let's see. First of all, first part of this comeback is flying past the Williams of Carlos Sainz, and we were 8 tenths back at the start of the straight, but we force him to defend. We go sailing around the outside, much fresher tyres. We're just going to slam the door on him because I want the racing line. I want to make him as much time as possible. He's an AI. He can get out of my way. It's for 1 point. Behave yourself. And off we go into the sunset, out of his DRS. And now setting purple sectors. Purple first sector, not bad at all from me. Coming into a sector that in previous games I found really tricky, but it's actually not too bad. On this game, they've made the curves a lot easier to ride now, which is making it a much more enjoyable driving experience. And as you can see, we take this sector really nicely. Boom, another green sector to go along with our purple. Will this be a fastest lap? I mean, you don't get points for fastest laps anymore, but it's just nice to be able to flex and say I had the pace. But the final sector isn't amazing, but we're taking it okay. It's smooth, it's nice and early on the power. The line isn't amazing, but it's nice and early on the power. and that is going to be a 1:17.5 and a fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And that has ultimately helped us with that pace catch up to Oscar Piastri. We already got past Russell, and we must have done that earlier in the lap because we did lose 2 seconds. And now we go flying past Oscar Piastri and into P7, and with 6 laps to go, we've caught 1.9 seconds on Antonelli in a lap, which is absolutely superb. And this is for P6. If we can get past Antonelli here, we would have recovered from P22 to P6 with a spin early on in the race as well. And it is P6 as of right now, but there are other things that can happen, so I don't know for sure if we're going to hold on. But right now, P6 looks very, very comfortable, and it looks like we are starting to lose life in the tyres, but we've got the moves done at the right time. And as we come through to the final sector, Verstappen wins the Grand Prix from out of nowhere. He did get pole though, but we have 55% tyre wear on the rears, and the rears aren't actually too hot, so in the end we probably should have gone for a medium hard strategy. It would have made my life so much easier, but in the end we recovered twice for a very solid P6, and we will 100% take that, including I think as well driver of the day.
The checkered flag is out. We're going to be hearing that Dutch national anthem again because it's victory for Max Verstappen.
You always look back at a race like this and think, if I had just made that mistake there or locked up here, there would have been contact. And every one of those overtakes is a moment where you have to absolutely nail it, perfect it, and that's exactly what they're able to do today. Great stuff indeed.
It's been a hard afternoon of brilliant racing, but now it's time for some proper celebrations. The podium awaits. And for those that have missed the Dutch national anthem, fear not. It's back again because Max Verstappen is back on the top step.
Yes, lads, so in the end, a very, very good comeback from P22 to P6 with a spin and falling to the back of the grid a second time. And we get fastest lap, etc, etc. My teammate really struggled to come through the grid, had that 10-second time penalty as well, and was eventually lapped. But it puts us in a really, really good position in the championship, ahead of a McLaren of Oscar Piastri. And, yeah, I mean, even the constructors as well, we are now 70 points clear of Williams, who are 20 ahead of Mercedes, and I mean, that's crazy. So never did I think Williams would be ahead of Mercedes, but it looks like they're on an upward spiral, and so are we, as despite the fact we spiraled on lap 4 of the Grand Prix, we are going to be able to say proudly that we took home P6, which is a very, very good result. And next time out, it is the Brazilian Grand Prix. Can't wait for that one.